The Bride of the Cursed Lake. Chapter 8, Whispers of Ritual. Part 4. The deeper we pushed into the forest, the more the mist thickened, curling low and unwilling to rise. The world shrank around us, paths narrowing to single threads, the air heavy with the breath of something waiting. And then we found it, a clearing unlike the first, larger, darker, the trees bending back as if afraid to lean too close. This was not the outer ring we'd seen before, not the 7 stones where wax and bone whispered of transformation. Here, 12 monoliths stood, taller, broader, their surfaces carved deep with sharp, violent script. Not the graceful cycles Anna had traced, but something older, crueler. A spiral carved into the earth itself, each line pulling toward the altar at the center. Black stone, slick with the memory of too many nights, too many names. The place the others kept their distance from, never brave enough to cross its threshold. This was the heart of the curse. The weight of history crushed the air. My blood sang with knowing. I reached for the altar, its surface slick and dark. Something whispered there, a sound like memory, a sound like grief. Mr. Marrow, Thomas called out, breathless, scared. We should turn back. I laughed, wild, beyond anything that would let me leave. It's here, I said. This is what she found. We need to tell someone. He stammered, inching back. It's getting late. We should go. I hardly heard him. My mind and hands were elsewhere, scouring the altar stone. A spiral of feathers caught in time. My heart beat with a savage joy. Everything she'd gathered, everything she'd written, it all made sense. I can't leave, I said, barely aware of my own voice. Not now, not when I'm this close. James, it's in our bones, she'd written. We can't outrun it. I'd never believed until now. I'd been a man of reason, a man of books, but none of those had taught me what she already knew. Anna was right, I shouted, more to the shadows than to him. The ritual isn't about disappearance. It's about transformation. Thomas looked pale as the mist. Mr. Marrow, James, we should get help. There's nothing to help, I said, triumphant, my hands thrust into the loose soil deep beneath the stone. I found it. The pouch was small, old, and rotted from years spent beneath the damp earth. Inside, the feathers and the drawing. A woman, then a swan. A beautiful terror unfurled within me. My hands shook with the violence of hope. She knew. I called a madman in a fever of revelation. The women don't vanish. They become the white swans. Thomas trembled, the horror written clear on his face. It's not safe. It's not what you think. You can't see it, I said, ecstatic in my understanding. You don't know what it's like, not until you're there. He stepped back closer to the edge, the boundary of the only truth he could face. Something guards them. I continued, my thoughts racing. Not a beast, a soul twisted by grief, bound to watch and to keep. No claws, no teeth, just loss. I could feel it then, more than Anna, more than myself. The presence of a guardian that could never let go. I saw it in my mind, the shape of an obsession that took flight, the terrible weight of memory given form. James, please, Thomas said, nearly a whisper. This is too much. Too much for you, I replied, barely a glance in his direction. But not for me. I couldn't tell if he was shaking more with pity or with fear. The line had blurred between the two. I emptied the pouch's contents across the altar. Swan feathers, the drawing, a scrap of damp, time-worn paper, its faded lines barely legible, remnants of something that resembled a ritual, or perhaps a curse. I spread them out, arranging them with the care of 1,000 lost years. It's all true, I said, almost a chant. Everything. You don't have to, he began, but the words failed him. He backed away, steps slow and unsteady, his eyes refusing to meet mine. I let him go, knowing that I was past his help, his hope. He ran as the darkness settled, the silence broken by nothing but my breathing and the thoughts that circled like wolves. I gathered the other objects, bones, wax, symbols. I arranged them with a steady hand and an unsteady soul. I didn't care about the night or the things it hid. I didn't care that my shadow grew larger than myself. I cared about Anna, and now I knew what it would take to return